Don't think that the left, though, realizes what sort of an impact their insane policies are having on the real middle-class working Americans. People who don't want any special recognition. They just want to get up in the morning, go to work, make a decent living, and get home, maybe crack open a beer. All right, well, take, for instance, Portland, Maine. It's pretty far from the border, so they shouldn't be impacted, right, by the illegal immigration crisis. Well, wrong. The Wall Street Journal is reporting that the city is being overrun by asylum seekers to the point where they're taking up 90% of Portland's family shelters. And city assistance for them is drying up. In fact, 75% of all population growth they saw between 2011 and 2016 was from foreign-born individuals. This is wild. For anyone spent any time up in Portland, and it's cold up there tonight, that is wild. Okay, former governor of Maine, Paul LePage, warned about this years ago, and he was called every nasty name under the sun as a result. All the usuals: racist, xenophobic, blah, blah, blah. Well, he joins me now. Governor, how does this influx of asylum seekers? Now, there's some from Central America. There are also refugees from Africa. It's a different, different status. But how does this affect everyday citizens, as I like to call them, the maniacs in Portland?
Well, Laura, what it really does, it takes away from the disabled, the elderly, people with intellectual disabilities. They're pushed aside. They're put on waiting lists, and the money goes to asylum seekers and undocumented citizens that come to people that come to the state of Maine. And that's been going on for years. When I was governor, we had litigation against the city of Portland for that exact reason. When the economy started getting better, I removed all the wait lists. There was 4,200 people on the wait lists. We budgeted for it, totally balanced budget, paid for it. The Democrats came in, took the money, and put the people back on a wait list, and they're still there now on a wait list. People who have lived their lives in Maine are now without services in their aging years or with their disabilities, and particularly the one that is the most upsetting is intellectual disabilities have gone by the wayside.
Okay, so those
hospitals.
Are mental health issues and so forth. A lot of people who, after the Great Recession in 2008, they still haven't gotten a leg up, even with the improved economy. And Maine has always, had some struggles in that area, obviously. I want to play something from you, this was back in a town hall you did in 2018, and the reaction from the crowd. Let's watch. 2016, sorry.
Illegals, or I call asylum seekers, are the biggest problem in our state.
Shame on you! Now. In more country.
Now.
Shame on you, they were screaming.
I recall. I think the Speaker of the House was there that evening.
Yeah, well, what are they saying now? I mean, look at this. I mean, we have a situation, according to the statistics today. In Portland, 65 to 70% of 1,000 people now receiving general assistance are non-citizens. Everyone hear that? 65 to 70% of the people receiving government assistance are non-citizens. Another, the city budgets of about $200,000 annually to fill in gaps for asylum seekers who don't qualify for general assistance, such as those who haven't yet filed an application. So you haven't filed, and they're reaching out to give you money in Portland. This is the Democrat Party, though. This is a state that is now with Democrat control. Democrat, right, is a state legislature.
That's correct.
Still run by Democrats.
And the governor and the incumbent governor invited them and said that when she's governor-elect, she said, "I will invite asylum seekers to come to Maine, and I will give them services." And well, if you invite, they will come.
When I think of all these other cities that are considering more generous policies toward both asylum seekers, refugees, again, a different story. What do you say to them, given Maine's own experience?
I would say that if you have the resources and you feel compassionate for these folks, go ahead and do it. But if you're going to be taking resources, very, very important
Scarce.
resources for your citizens, then you are making a big mistake.
Well, again, 90% of the people living in Portland's city-run family shelter and overflow shelter are people who are asylum seekers, overwhelmingly, I guess, still from Africa, correct?
That is correct, from Africa. And you know, one thing that
I don't get the Africa. I don't get all the Somalis all went to Minnesota, and then they went to Maine. The two climates, by the way, I don't get that at all. I don't get how
Exactly.
that's the place where everybody go. Well, what is that?
I don't know, but I will say this. The one thing that nobody's talking about right now, they're talking about the resources being eaten up by temporary housing. I'll tell you, when they get into housing, you should see the disgraceful housing that these people are being put into in the city of Portland. I visited this housing. It was housing that I was brought up in, which gives me nightmares. My whole entire life. It's terrible.
Well, Governor, you're seeing a total transformation of New England cities. In New England, Lawrence, Massachusetts, another one. And this is happening all across New England, but Portland brought it on itself, and people are going to have to pick up the pieces. Governor, thank you so much. Now, in a somewhat related story.